In this video, we're going to be making a barbecue platter, and I've also got a special guest coming who's going to help me with a few components. All right, now I'm going to get started with the beef ribs. We've got a beautiful 4-bone rack we're going to be working with. As you can see, we've got some nice marbling in there, and I'm just going to simply start by trimming any excess fat off. I don't mind leaving a light coverage on, but any excess fat over 2 to 3 mil, I'm just going to trim down. And then I'm just going to square up this thin end. And that's about as far as I'll go with a rack of beef ribs, so let's get these seasoned up. Now to help our rub stick to the meat, I'm just going to give our beef ribs a nice light coat in some yellow mustard. If you don't like yellow mustard or you don't have any, you could just use some olive oil. Then you can go ahead and get them seasoned up in your favourite barbecue rub. I'm going to be going down with some of my steak shooter spicy first. And then we'll go down with some beef bounce over the top, which will give us some really nice bark. Now we'll just mop up any seasoning we've got on the cutting board with our beef ribs, and now these are ready to go. And I've got our smoker running at 275 Fahrenheit or 135 Celsius. I'm just going to get some smoking wood on now. I'll get a chunk of cherry straight on the fire, and then I've got a chunk of bourbon barrel oak I'll put just to the side, and then I'm just going to get our heat deflector in, followed by our cooking grate, and then our beautiful rack of beef ribs. Now we'll shut our lid and let them smoke away. And the beauty about beef ribs is we can just let them go until they are done and probing tender around that 205 Fahrenheit or 96 degrees Celsius internal mark, which might take anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. All right, now our beef ribs are on. We're gonna make some homemade pickles, and our special guest has just arrived, Chef Jack Ovens. Thanks for coming out, mate.
How you going?
Good.
Let's make some pickles to start with. So with the pickles, we want to get these done first so we can get them in the fridge and that brine can work its magic. And then after that, we've got a couple more sides to go. Now for the pickles, we need 1 cucumber, take off both ends, and then we're going to slice this into round discs the whole way across. And you're looking for something around 1 centimeter in thickness. Along with the cucumber, we need 15 grams of dill. This is just fresh dill here. If you don't want to use fresh, you can also use dried, but fresh is always best. And last but not least, we're going to need 4 cloves of garlic. Just place the side of your knife down and push down to crush. This is going to activate the allicin compound, which is what gives garlic its strong flavor.
And then for the brine, we're adding 250 ml of cold water with 200 ml of white vinegar. And then we're going to add a tablespoon of black peppercorns, a tablespoon of yellow mustard seeds, a tablespoon of coriander seeds, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 5 bay leaves, and 2 teaspoons of salt. And then get this over high heat, bring it up to a boil, giving it a stir often.
Now, once the pickling brine has come to a boil, we can remove it from the heat and immediately pour it into our jar all over our cucumbers. If you have any remaining seeds left in the pot, just make sure you scoop them out and add them in as well. It's all extra flavor. Now, once the brine is completely covering the cucumbers, we'll immediately place it on a lid, and this can go in the fridge and allow it to completely cool down. With the pickles now in the fridge, we'll move on to the coleslaw. We've got 350 grams of white cabbage and 250 grams of red cabbage. I like to peel away the leaves and separate them into layers. It's going to make it a lot easier and safer to slice. And we're going to slice this into thin strips, also known as ribbons, or even chiffonade for the correct culinary term. Slice 1 red onion in half and save the other for another dish or another recipe. Take off both ends and then peel it. And then in the half moon position, we're going to thinly slice this into those thin strips. We're also going to need 15 grams of flat leaf parsley. Scrunch it up and give it a rough chop, making sure that there's no large leaves or stems. Next is 3 to 4 spring onions or scallions. Take off the roots, and then we're going to thinly slice the whole way across into small rounds. You can also do it on an angle if you'd like to create that nice little bit of presentation. An optional ingredient is 40 grams of macadamia nuts. You can really use any tree nuts of your choice. Roughly chop these, just make sure they're not whole. And if you want even extra flavor, you can toast them in a pan. With all of that chopped, we'll just use clean hands and start mixing this all together. Make sure everything's separated and completely mixed through. Then for our dressing, we're going to need 200 grams of mayonnaise. Any brand of mayonnaise of your choice is completely fine here. Add that to a mixing bowl. Add in 1.5 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. We're also going to need 1 lemon, save half for another recipe or a drink, and then squeeze in the juice of half a lemon. Just make sure that no seeds decide to jump in. With that in a bowl, give it a good mix around, make sure everything's combined, check and adjust seasoning. We can also do that again later when the dressing is mixed through the salad. And what you should have is something that looks like this.
When you're ready to serve, add all of the dressing onto the coleslaw mix and thoroughly mix until everything is coated. Check it for seasoning, adjusting with salt and pepper. You can add a little bit of lemon juice if it needs it. And that is our coleslaw done.
All right, and now with the pickles and the slaw out of the way, we've just checked on our beef ribs. They've got about an hour left. So what we're gonna do now is get our chicken wings on. I'm just gonna simply season these up with my new chili citrus rub. And once our chicken wings are seasoned, we've got some nice red hot briquettes we're going to dump in our barbecue. And then we're gonna get some smoking wood on, followed by our cooking grate, and then we're gonna get our chicken wings around the outside of our charcoal baskets. And they're gonna smoke away hot and fast at around 230 Celsius until they're nice, crispy, and cooked through.
Now, last but not least, for the mac and cheese, we'll place a large pot of water onto our stovetop and then whack this over a high heat and bring it up to a boil. For our cheeses, we're going to grate 140 grams in total of cheese on the larger side of a box grater. What I have here is half Gouda and half cheddar. You can also use Gruyere or even mozzarella if you'd like to. I don't recommend using the store-bought stuff. It's always better to grate your own. Once the water's at a boil, just generously season it with salt. Doesn't need to be ocean water. Drop in 400 grams of macaroni or elbow pasta. Give it a stir, just so nothing sticks together. And cook this for 1 minute less than the packet instructions. Once that's done, just carefully remove them and then just pour them through a colander. Now into a pan over a medium-high heat, add in 200 milliliters of full-fat cream and 200 milliliters of full-fat milk, 120 grams of cream cheese, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of both onion and garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of smoked paprika. Season to taste with salt and cracked black pepper, 15 cracks worth. Then mix that all around, make sure all of those flavors have become friends and the cream cheese is thoroughly mixed through. Bring it up to a simmer and then reduce the heat to medium. Cook it for about 4 to 5 minutes until very slightly reduced. Add in all of the cheese and then mix that all through. All we need to do right now is allow that cheese to melt, but I do recommend keep mixing it because we don't want that cheese to clump up. When the cheese is melted, the sauce is nice and thick, add in all of the macaroni. We can then mix this all through. All we need to do is cook this for about 1 to 1.5 minutes to finish off cooking the pasta and to get it all sauced up and nice and cheesy. Check it for seasoning and adjust to your liking, and this can be removed from the stovetop.
Right, and after about 30 minutes, these chicken wings are nice, crispy on the outside, and they're well above that safe eating internal temperature of 74 degrees Celsius. Chicken wings are really good because they can go above that safe eating temperature without drying out because there's so much fat in there and they're on the bone. And our beef ribs, these have been going for around 7 hours in total. Got a beautiful bark on there. These are nice, squishy, probing, really tender. And we're right around where we want to be at that 96 Celsius or 205 Fahrenheit. And all I'm going to do now with our beef ribs is get them off and give them a short rest before we come back to slice, serve them and put them on the platter. All right, we are done. I know what you're going to go for first and what we should go for first, the beef rib.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Oh, wow. That is so good. Jeez.
Unreal, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
It's like brisket on a stick. Mm. We don't even need to eat anything else, we just eat this. Wow. Even though
That's unreal.
I'm gonna have some of these chicken wings.
Trying so hard not to swear right now.
Crispy, juicy, that chili citrus. What do you think of the chili citrus?
There's so much flavour in there, and it comes in different waves as well.
Mm.
So you got like the hint of chili comes after, and then the citrus as well. But like you have that nice savoury umami hit at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that chicken's really juicy as well.
Oh, that's good.
So good.
Pickle just to cleanse the palate. They're good pickles. For how quick and easy that is a phenomenal mac and cheese recipe. I'm gonna have the meat sweats after this.
Oh, this is everything you'd want from the barbecue platter. That though is insane. That's so good.
Yeah, we all knew that was gonna be the star of the show. I reckon we take this inside and enjoy the rest of it, eh?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to both channels and we'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.